Experiment number 4, basic resonant inverter. In this one, you are making the first series resonant inverter circuit that I did not discuss in the class, but I put the notes on Canvas and also the video lecture. So make sure you read the notes, check out the video lectures, and actually this is example number 1 that is discussed in the lecture. So this is series resonant inverter. Working of the series resonant inverter is discussed, so I'm not going to go over it again. The experiment is pretty straightforward, but again you need to have good understanding of the circuit, so make sure you read the notes, you check the videos, and then have a good understanding of how does this circuit work. So you're going to create the circuit and make sure you follow the instructions. Should start with 1, of course. It just carried on from the last exercise. Yeah, so don't worry about number 7, it's number 1. We are using 2 MOSFETs as switches, and we are using, of course, pulse voltage to turn on and turn off the switches. So read it. You will know what will be the specification of V1 and V2. The peak voltage is going to be 5 volt to turn them on, and set the switching time of each switch based on the work that you are going to do on the circuit to figure out what will be the turn on time for the first half of the waveform, and that is going to be the switching time of the first switch, the first pulse, and likewise the same switching time for the second one, but you're going to delay the switching of the second one after the first one is off. So instructions are given here. Again, read them, and there's not much here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what you're expecting. So when you do the circuit and execute the circuit, this is the current waveform. So as you can see, it's not exactly sinusoid, but it's sinusoidal-ish, which is very good because there will be less harmonics over here because it is quite close to sinusoid. So this is the waveform of the current passing through the resistor, and you also have to look at the waveform of the voltage. These two things are discussed in the example number 1 of the lecture notes. You're going to look at the voltage. So make sure you compare all these values against the values that we calculated in example number 1. And that is the voltage waveform of the capacitor. Once again, make sure the waveform that you're putting, make the width of the lines to be bolder, so it's easier to see. That's the voltage across capacitor. Again, make sure to compare all the values against the values that you're calculating or that are discussed in example number 1. The values will be off a little bit in this one, and there are multiple reasons of that. Of course, switches are not ideal switches, and other reasons that the values are a little bit off, not a lot, but there will be some discrepancy of the values. Think about the reasons, and of course you will have to discuss those reasons in the lab report. Once again, make sure you have a really good lab report. Discuss how do they operate, basic resonant inverter, what's the basic operation, and then think about, you will see discrepancies in the results, so make sure think about why you see those, and then put down the reasons for those. It's a straightforward lab, not much is there, but make sure you need to first read the notes on the series resonant inverters that I posted, and also check out the lecture because I explained the operation and everything in detail in the lecture.